How's it going, everybody? This is Anything at All. I'm your host, Zach, joined here in person this time with the one and only Isaac. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Last time we had you over the phone. We were talking about the movies, where it went wrong,
Mm-hmm.
or where we've seen the decline, I guess, in the quality of type of films that are being put out there today.
Mm-hmm.
So if you didn't get a chance to check that out, it's on our YouTube, Anything at All podcast, or anywhere on your listening devices, Apple Music. Give us a follow. We really would appreciate it. So tonight, in lieu of the Browns and the Jets playing, we started thinking of ideas what to talk about, and we came across an idea that the NFL might be on its way back into America's TV nights. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's it's kind of a sacred thing because you can get involved passionately in something like that. You can disconnect from reality and, in a sense, be consumed with it for a couple hours.
And for a couple weeks or months because of fantasy football.
Yeah, you get into fantasy football, it goes to another level. But, it was a disconnect from reality, a coping mechanism.
Right.
And when you bring reality back into that, then it frustrates people.
What do you mean by that?
It'd be like, it's kind of like watered down beer,
No one.
It doesn't taste good.
Right.
It doesn't feel
you're
good.
getting gypped.
Yeah.
You're not getting what you want.
Yeah.
So in the end, we're talking mainly when they brought the politics into the scene of the NFL a few years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
With the Kaepernick incident.
Kaepernick, and then you get whole teams and commission or owners involved and so forth.
Because it all started with. I believe the Kaepernick movement, and some agree, some disagree. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. And from my stance, despite what Kaepernick stands for or not, that's on him. But on my take on it, like you said, we all saw the NFL and sports as an outlet. Like you said, escape from reality. We don't want to listen to politics. We're here for you to play and entertain us. And I think that's been the argument for that year, 2016 and on. And I think now, we were agreeing, it's finally coming back to us as what you would expect.
It seems like they've checked that and they've realized, hey, we can't open this up to that arena of discussion. If the player wants to be involved outside of game time, that's his own prerogative. He can do what he wants and so forth. If a player has an Instagram or whatever and he talks about different subjects and so forth, that's one thing. But when you actually bring it into game time,
right,
that people aren't interested in that. If you want to learn about politics and things like that, then you can watch the news. There's plenty of other independent journalists that will cover that kind of topic.
Right.
They will talk about different situations. You can go down the rabbit hole of extensively outside of that. So, the games are sacred in a way, so leave them that way. Let it be something that people can enjoy, that people can be bipartisan about. It's not about reality. It's about what's going on. It's two teams. Whether you're attached to the Patriots, the Packers, the Bears, the Chargers, whatever. You can be passionately involved in that and escape reality as you enjoy, something.
Yeah, no, and I totally agree. I feel like since we had the Kaepernick, and then even a little bit of a glimpse of like the Antonio Brown situation, and we, in a sense, obviously that wasn't a political statement of following him. It was more of the drama of the NFL. So if you were wanting to stay tuned with the NFL and not want the politics, but you wanted some, how they have Hard Knocks now where they give you that side into what goes on at practice, and that reality TV show
Mm-hmm.
type of entertainment, which people love, and it's one of the top grossing aspects to television. You got that, and you know, in a sense, I think the NFL is catching on to let's not have people get attached to the political side of things. Let's have them get attached to not only just the sport, but now you get a little insight on the players. Then when you see them play, like Antonio Brown, I feel like a lot of people probably tuned into the Pats game because they knew Antonio Brown was going to play. New team, you know, you wanted to see that. You knew his drama before, that baggage, and now you get to see his performance based on the history you know. It was no longer the history of where he stands politically in loom of what's going on with his charges that may play a role into it too. But then again, you're here to see Antonio Brown play football.
You're here for football.
You're here for football.
You know,
I feel like he delivered on that level of it.
It's the presumed innocent until proven guilty, you know. And so if somebody's proven guilty, then they should be pulled from whatever stage or platform that they're on. But,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, I have an article on the ratings of the NFL in 2016 to 17, and hopefully we'll see an increase. So, we got a child coming through here. This is live sports or live radio here. Like this article says, it's from CNBC. Like the rest of television programming, the NFL has seen its ratings decline in recent years due to the viewers parting. And they're also saying it's due to the cable for streaming services. In the league, also subjects to political of the recent years, Colin Kaepernick and Eric Reed have drawn the ear of President Donald Trump. The league's ratings, however, grew by an average of 5% last year, according to Modef Nations. Probably said that wrong. Fact check me on that. Viewer ownership among ages of 18 to 25, less than 5%. Okay. So this upswing comes at a crucial time for the league, which is set to reignite its rights deals in the coming years. The league's contract for the NFL for Monday Night Football with Disney's ESPN is set to expire in 2021. Didn't know that. Its contract with other networks are up a year later. That's an interesting point. You forget that the NFL doesn't just get aired because we feel like it's an American thing. You know, they're having to pay for that airtime in that competitive world. And I think, you know, like this article says, we need to not overlook streaming devices and how many people pay for cable to watch it. And so they're saying that people are willing to pay the $10 to stream it on, say, Hulu.
Streaming services are the future. You know, traditional cable and so forth is going bye-bye. You know, I can't remember the article, but I remember a discussion or several articles at the time. It was during the Kaepernick incident, and they were talking about if the NFL gets below 14 million viewers, it's going to be in trouble. You know?
Yeah.
And it dwindled down. It was down in the 15 to 16s. And it's slowly been climbing since. And so I think that's all due to the fact that they want to get back to focusing on the game. Let's not have so much drama. Let's focus on playing football. That's what we're here for. We're here to play football. And, you know, keep things simple, you know, in business and all other things, you know, education, business, anything you get into. There's a point when things become too complex.
Right.
And, you know, you introduce things like politics and so forth. And, you know, political correctness, things like that. You know, like the whole Carrie Underwood replacing Hank Williams Jr., you know, from Monday Night Football. He got canned, I believe, because, you know, he speaks his mind about some stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if he hasn't technically done anything wrong, why are you destroying stuff that is nostalgic, people admire and so forth? For me, Monday Night Football, that brings back childhood memories.
Right.
I actually, was thinking about that. I don't have any way to, at the moment, show my kids Monday Night Football and so forth. It used to be on every single Monday night.
Right.
It was background noise. I used to be able to, play toys in the living room, and I'd watch the game here and there with my dad and so forth, But so when you stray away from things like that, keeping the main thing, and keeping things simple, you overcomplicate it, and I think that's why they were losing. And so it seems like they have pulled back to what is the main thing, which is playing football. And
keeping it simple.
I think that's why it's actually coming back, and it might have a chance of actually surviving.
Right. Well, and I think of it, I know there was a service, Game Pass, which I bought into thinking that you get any game live during that moment of the game. I was wrong. You only get the games after they've played. So if you're playing fantasy football and you want to watch your updates go, well, you better not look at your phone and then watch the games you want to watch in the playback on Game Pass to see it. So if NFL wants to step up their game, then they would have to go to their own designated streaming service like Disney Plus, like Netflix. However, I feel like, where's the NFL get their money other than the merchandise from the fans? Well, you would think paid advertisement and whatnot. But then again, I would buy into it, $12 a month, whatever it is, to get any game live. I mean, that's just money. But then again, if they do get canned for whatever reason, if they lose the deal with ESPN and they're not going to get that airtime like they normally do, it's a risk because you get a million people to pay that $12 a month. That's only $12 million revenue when that's like every game they're airing they get. So it's tough, and then do the players not get paid as much as they want to get paid?
Well, see, if you go to a streaming service, then you lose. Then you have to charge people for it. Well, people don't want to pay for something. People want some. People are lazy. They're gonna want something free. And so that's why they deal with the ads. It's a cheap way to deal with things. But then people are getting to throw their ads up and so forth. So I don't know. I honestly think they just need to, create their own streaming service, but include ads in there.
Right.
That's what YouTube did.
I know, but here's the thing. This article mentions just how you said the nostalgic of of family time. They say that the NFL gets all their revenue back in the fourth quarter, meaning during Thanksgiving week and Christmas. So this says the NFL's interest accumulates in the fourth quarter of the year. No other sport has its hot time. That's Christmas and Thanksgiving. That's when you want those decision makers in front of that TV set, Jones said, the owner of the Cowboys. And then, in quotes, and then we have natural breaks. They're called huddles. They're called stop pages. They're not intrusive, so we can put many messages up there at the same time. So take that for what it's worth. So from broadcasting on Fox, NBC, and CBS generates about $50 million per game in advertising revenue. There you go. So here we go. The NFL has already tried some streaming video with Verizon's, Yahoo, Amazon, and Twitter. So they're out there. The NFL's partners are hopefully being used the right way as leverage with negotiations with pay TV providers, obtaining high distribution fees, and in the case of broadcasters, higher reverse compensation from affiliates. So they're moving to having to dance and keep up with the times. Will our children, I guess we should say, will our kids see football?
That's the real question. Will our grandkids actually see football?
Right. Or will we be like, when we were your age, or, in 10 years or whatever, or not 10 years, but when they're younger and we're older, we'll say, man, I remember the time that games were live. We saw the decline, and now NFL is just a thing of the past.
It's you wonder, is it going to survive the 20s?
Right. How do you get this generation glued to the TV? I mean, there's kids that I'll talk to that will tell me, oh, Dak Prescott or, Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady's so old. It's like, okay, do they know that? I mean, they're obviously getting attached, which is great. But then again, is that the whole mundane thing that they hear? I mean, granted, I grew up not wanting anything to do with football until I started fantasy football. And that's when I was really invested in not just one team, but as you may know what team that is if you're following along with us. But now I know a lot of the players outside of that one team, which brilliant marketing on NFL's part. Because now now I'll watch the Browns game because I have Patrick or Mayfield on my roster. So they got to keep that up, and they got to start thinking of other things to do to keep these kids wanting to grow. And if you can't, like you said, have that attachment, that youth attachment to it to want to pass down, well then,
you're not going to have future viewers. You need something that draws the next generation in. So that's what's so scary. I think of the I don't know if you've noticed at like a concert and so forth, in between bands and so forth, if you look around and pay attention to everybody, they flip their phone out, and they start scrolling through. They start doing the I like calling it the millennial twitch. And they're just looking for something to entertain them. They're flipping
in between.
Yeah, they're flipping through, their text messages, looking to see if anybody's text them. Then they go check their social media. Then they go check their emails. And then they go back and they recycle through. They recycle their Facebook feed.
It's a drug, man. It's a drug. That we can say that for.
And it's over and over and over and over and over. And it's, well, how are you going to connect with that generation? So you can keep things going. That's why I wonder, is it going to survive the 20s? I mean, it's on the comeback.
I think baseball dies first. It's just such a slow game, and if you haven't played baseball or you aren't playing it, it's just hard to watch it unless you're at the game. Even when you're at the game, you're on your phone, And that's why I think it's so funny that you'll go to a concert, and if you look around, do this next time you're at a concert, but notice how many people are on their phones recording the concert. They may be bleachers away, and the singer's like this big, and yet you're here trying to film it. So now you're making them twice as small, but you're watching it like this. It just doesn't. I mean, I don't get it. Go on YouTube and watch that concert that you were at. You'll have 1,000 different videos of that. Why don't you just take it in with your eyes? So it's a weird thing, man. And you're right. The NFL's gonna have to keep up, and yeah. So coming on the 20-minute mark, any closing remarks on this one?
It's just like I said, it's all about simplicity, but it's also about understanding how to connect with the coming generations. Yep. And my fear is that they're still just trying to figure out how to keep things simple and keep the current generations still engaged. And so they're not being proactive about the next generations. And so that's where my fear is that, it's that mathematical curve. It might seem like we're gumming up, but is it going to start going back down? And, is it going to keep going down? And all of a sudden, is it going to crash? And
right.
all of a sudden, one day we're going to wake up and, Football isn't around.
No more fantasy football either.
You know, you think about those kind of things. You know, I talk to my grandparents about, you know, what life was like before.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what was big. You know, what did you do? You know, what happened when TV came around.
Ooh.
You know.
See, and that's the start. That's the start of putting something in your face, and there goes an hour of your life a night. And now it's 24/7, and we can't complain because you know we would hope you would stay tuned and follow us on anything. We're not bashing, you know, technology. Having worked in the field, it's a great tool, but it's also a scary tool.
Everything with balance.
Balance, simplicity. All right, guys, we're going to close that topic of the NFL and its comeback or future decline. We hope you enjoyed listening in. Catch us on our future podcasts on podcast platforms everywhere. Follow us on Facebook. Just kidding, not on Facebook yet. But give us that subscribe button on YouTube. Anything at all. I knew I'd get it out. Anything at all _podcast. See you guys on the next one.